Hi, people of the VC, Andy, Cloudy Mulder, 3 random records. Number 14, I think. So after I've done more videos this week than I think I've done since I started doing videos. But the last 3 were all competition entries. Really enjoyed doing them. Seems to be competition time on the VC at the moment. But today back to usual fare on this channel. As always, this 3 random record series is my record collection prior to start to show collection updates on the VC. And as usual, I'm asking you, the people viewing, to help me decide which records to show by leaving a comment below with a number between 1 and 150. As always, there's a link to a blog post which has all the information on there, shows which records and which numbers have already been picked and which numbers are still to pick. And for those of you who have already entered numbers, I know some of you have done it weeks ago, so apologies for not getting around to them really quickly, but at least you can see roughly when you're coming up. So I think I've got numbers for 14 and 15 and maybe 1 or 2 in 16. So really appreciate people getting involved. I mean, you guys are helping to make this series work and being fun, because I'm not choosing which records I'm showing here. So it's fun for me to actually pick them out, give them a spin again. Some of them I've not spun for a few years, and yeah, anyway, a lot of fun. So I'm going to dive straight to it. So the first one I'm going to show today, number 5. So this was chosen by Harmless Rebels vinyl channel, Steve. So this is actually Steve's 3rd time of getting involved in this. The first couple of times, by complete coincidence, he got Dave Lee Roth records, but this time you haven't got a Dave Lee Roth record, Steve. You have got one of my all-time favourite records. That's Dio, Holy Diver. Again, by complete coincidence, one of those competition videos I was talking about, I showed this one, and this was in the Dead Wax 66's competition, where you had to show your top 10, or which, not your top 10 albums, but if you had to keep only 10 albums, which would you keep? So the fact that I showed this one probably gives the game away that I love it. It is one of my favorite heavy metal records of all time, and this is pure, unadulterated, theatrical fantasy heavy metal at its finest. I think everything that Dio had done in music, from when he was in Elf through Rainbow, Black Sabbath, peaked at this point, and he created a monster of a heavy metal album. I see this as his probably his 3rd great classic after Rainbow's Rising and Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell. The difference being here is it was his band and he was in control, and yeah, I think it's an absolute masterpiece. And the title song, Holy Diver, is just one of my favourite metal songs of all time. But every track on here is a classic. As I mentioned, yeah, it's kind of fantasy theme throughout. Don't Talk to Strangers, Straight Through the Heart, Rainbow in the Dark, Shame on the Night. Even it's moody, and it's heavy, and it's great. I mean, this copy itself, you can probably see on here, it's a bit dog-eared. There's cover rips, there's back cover rips. The vinyl, it plays okay, the songs, but it crackles quite a bit between the songs, despite being cleaned. It's a good filler copy to have in a collection, but I'm definitely looking for an upgrade copy. This one is, I'll say, it's beat to shit really, but it only cost me about £3, and I'm determined to get an upgrade copy at some time. It does come actually with the original inner, which is a collage of the band and predominantly Dio, of course. There you go. This is in pretty good shape. And it's Vertigo pressing. So this is 1983. I'm going to mention that, but you're probably on that anyway. On the standard UK generic Vertigo label. Yeah, not too much more to say about that. One of my favourite albums. I play it a lot, and I'm on the look for an upgrade. So anyway, Steve, there you go. Finally got one that isn't David Lee Roth. Thank you very much for participating. On to number 2. The next one was number 45, and that was chosen by Nasty Metal Productions. Again, I'll put a link up to Steve's channel. I've already done it, actually, if you look back. Thinking about that now. And Nasty Metal Productions as well. But number 45 in my collection, remember, the numbers on my collection are all, I randomised them to start with, so it's not an A to Z when people are choosing numbers. And this is Metal Heart by Accept, their 6th studio album from 1985 on Portrait Records and a UK pressing. There we go. This cost me, so got price tag on. This cost me £6 actually. It's in superb condition. Maybe the only thing missing is it's got a plain white cover. I don't know whether there was an original picture sleeve or not, but the outer sleeve is pretty much mint. And what have we got down here? As always, guys, home taping, killer music. You've got to stop, all you people out there. But so this album, yeah, this was Accept's attempt to crack the US market. Less raw than their previous releases, bit more melodic. The original cover, apparently, they had a great idea to this fantastic hologram of a metal heart, but budgeting considerations resulted in this more sort of traditional mechanical design. It's an album, I think, that divides opinion, really. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad album. If you look on somewhere like a review site like Encyclopedia Metallum, the reviews, the user reviews on there, listener reviews, range from 55% to 100. It's kind of, I think, someone mentioned it's Accept commercialized, and I think that just about sums it up for me. There are some good tracks on here, but it's not balls to the wall. I'm more of a balls to the wall kind of guy, if that makes sense. Too high to get it right. That's okay. Dogs on Leads, Teachers to Survive, Living for Tonight, Bound to Fail. I don't know why I've started on side 2. But Metal Heart is, yeah, I mean, it's a bit weird because it has kind of classical music samples in it. I did read what they were, but I cannot remember at the moment, so apologies for that. But look it up if you're into that kind of thing. Midnight Mover, again, very, very commercial sounding, bit different if you're used to the rawer sound of Accept. Up to the Limit actually is probably one of them, is closer to classic Accept, and is probably one of my favourite songs on that one, on the album. Wrong is Right is mostly forgettable, and Screaming for a Love Bite is kind of okay until you actually listen to the lyrics, and then it just seems to be a bit of an awful song. As I say, it's not a bad album. I'm glad to have it in my collection. It's in great condition. As I say, no inner sleeve of notes. There's the Portrait label. I would say that this is on wafer thin vinyl, which is kind of surprising for mid-80s. I know a lot of late 80s stuff has thinner vinyl, but I've had After Dinner Mints thicker than this. But nice to have in the collection. I don't really play this a lot. There are other albums that I go to for Accept before this one. But there we go. So thank you, Nasty Metal Productions, for selecting that one. Last up, it's a single this time around. There's a few 7-inch and 12-inch singles in my original collection, and this is one of them. So this was number 79, selected by Pla Addiction. So this is the first time that he's selected a number and got involved in this. So thank you very much, Pla. Great channel. This guy has so much energy. If we could bottle his energy, I'd certainly buy a few myself. Does a lot of videos with Jex as well. Absolutely love his channel. Very, very funny, very amusing, but also, you know, informative as well. The guy shows a lot of good and cool music. But yes, what is that single? That is 7-inch single, Dogs D'Amour. How Come It Never Rains, It Only Pours. So this is from 1989, China Records, a UK pressing. As you can see, it's signed by vocalist Tyler and guitarist Steve James. Stephen James. Dogs D'Amour, I think they were formed in the early 80s, but they didn't really get any success. They're a UK band, I guess they're kind of a blues rock inspired glam sleaze rock band that they had a few hits in the late 80s, this being one of them. This is from their second album, In the Dynamite Jet Saloon. I don't have that album. I probably would pick it up if I came across it. It's a bit ballady, but I've always liked this song. It's not the full-on metal band does acoustic ballad type thing, so I can forgive it. It's just a sort of a slower number, but the style of music that they play, it kind of suits it. And yeah, so I didn't actually get these signatures myself, so I bought this from Spillers Records back in 1989 in Cardiff, which is where I used to buy a lot of records at the time, one of the Cardiff's oldest record stores. And it was they often had singles or albums that were signed that were just on the shelf waiting to be picked up. So Dogs D'Amour probably played a gig in Cardiff sometime, and I guess the shop owner took a bunch of records down to get signed and put them on general display. I don't even recall it being that much more expensive for it being signed, but nice to have. There's the flip side. On the B side is a song called Baby Glass. In fact, there's not an A side and a B side. There's a Drunken Angel side with How Come It Never Rains, the Dynamite remix 7-inch edit, and on the gutter side, or B side to You and Me, is a song called Baby Glass, which is a live track from recorded rough and fast one drowsy and drunken afternoon in the summer of '88. So there we go. Can't say really so much about it. I like it. It's nice to have in the collection. I've just played it now for the first time in probably since 1989. Still sounds good, and the B-side actually sounds quite good. They sounded quite good live. I don't know how produced that was as a result. There you go, for label junkies out there. It's one of those sort of embossed printed labels. A-side and B-side. China Records. So there we go. That's episode 14, 3 Random Records completed. Thank you to Steve, Harmless Rebel, Nasty Metal Productions, and Pla Addiction for supplying the numbers for this episode. If you want to get involved, you don't even have to be a subscriber, but you don't even have to comment. You can just leave a number in the comments below. It helps if you check to see what numbers have gone before by clicking on the blog post link. But if you've not been involved, there you get involved. You get a shout out for your channel. If you've been involved before, you're more than welcome to get involved again. This series doesn't work without you guys giving me the ammunition. Let me know what you think about these three, and I'll see you in another video next week. Cheers, bye.